What's going on? You know, this is AlTone, and this is just something for the brothers. Yes, I am a sensitive male. Can you tell? Oh, no, stop being silly. But for real, I have always been a very sensitive male, someone that is really in touch with his emotions and often show that vulnerability to others. And there is a time and a place for it. Let you know that. But there's nothing wrong with you being a sensitive, emotional, or not emotional, but male that's in touch with his emotional side. It's nothing wrong with a man who sits down and watches a movie that and empathizes with that's going on with a character so much that it causes him to shed a tear. There's nothing wrong with that. Actually, if anything, those are the type of people that you probably want to be the closest with, because they actually truly care and they actually do things to try to help you in some way. So look at if anybody's telling you otherwise, you need to look at your emotional side as a positive. I know that during the time frame I grew up, and thankfully I didn't have a father that was like this. During that time frame, everybody said, "Don't cry, men don't cry. You better wipe your face," and stuff like that, and try to basically bully you into sucking up. The difference is, it's okay to teach you how to control and be in control of your emotions, but it's not okay to teach you to bottle your emotions up and not to express them, ever. That's not a good thing. What ends up happening is, and any violent male that you've ever met gets worked up and starts breaking things or hitting people or stuff like that. Usually those individuals are emotional males, but they won't tell you that they're emotional male, but they're letting their emotions control them versus them controlling their emotions. That's exactly what it is. So the bully, who for some reason gets something in him and decides he wants to start picking on somebody, may not be shedding a tear, but he's in an emotional state and he's letting those emotions control him. And the poor guy, like I was, that gets picked on to the point where you begin to wonder, why is this individual being so mean to me? I haven't done anything to them, and those emotions start to come out and starts to shed a tear. Guess what? There's nothing wrong with you. You know, I think about it now, looking back in my past, and go, in those situations when I would actually shed a tear, usually what was going on in my mind was, why? I've tried to understand why an individual feels it necessary to give me that type of negative attention when I've done absolutely nothing to them. And in that situation, it might pull a few tears from me. Now, I'm sitting here and I'm sharing some things with you. But if you think for a second that you can come at me any kind of way, I'm a strong male. Just because I'm sharing my sensitive side with you today does not mean that you can just jump in and say or do whatever you want with me. So I'm just throw that out there. Don't take it for weakness. But and don't take anyone else for a weakness either, by the way. But there's nothing wrong with being a sensitive male. There's absolutely nothing wrong with it. I don't care what anybody tells you. I don't care whether they want to make fun of you or whatever. Usually those individuals are the ones that have issues that they don't know how to resolve for themselves. Therefore, they're taking all of that frustration and anger out on someone that they feel cannot defend themselves. They say misery loves company. That's essentially what it is. So there's absolutely nothing wrong with being a sensitive male. The one thing you want to have in that situation is in any situation as a sensitive male, is you want to maintain emotional intelligence. There's a book that I read when I was younger, absolutely fantastic book called Emotional Intelligence. And essentially, you just want to make sure that, again, you are in control of your emotions and you don't let your emotions control you, because letting your emotions control you usually cause you to do things that you will regret in the future, and you do not want that. So, again, just wanted to share that with you. Seriously, it's something I've dealt with all my life. I've dealt with it dealing with people, getting bullied. I dealt with it getting with in relationships. I've dealt with that in quite a few different ways, and come to realize, honestly, that there's nothing wrong with it. There's nothing wrong with being an emotional male. Absolutely nothing wrong with it. So I wanted to make sure that you understood that today. And there's some other things I'll be talking about, but there's too many issues that we as men deal with that society says something different about. Has this messed up opinion, distorted opinion about, and we deal with those things. And for the ones that's dealing with it, oftentimes we feel as if there's something wrong with us. And so this whole series is just about me sharing with you how there's absolutely nothing wrong with you. Just because society doesn't agree with who you are or the choices that you make, there's nothing wrong with you. And being a sensitive male and being one to share his vulnerabilities, if I can say it, there's nothing wrong with that. So with that, I hope you have an absolutely fantastic day. As I always say, I will definitely talk to you again soon.